My soul bows to you. Namaskar. Namaskar, everyone. Welcome to day 18 of our 21-day series. Have you ever felt sleepy and dull in your meditation? Have you ever felt that you were held in this state of ignorance or darkness during the meditation? Or during the meditation, have you felt that strong drive to bring the body into balance? And you want to continue to be active in the meditation in order to drive away everything that is creating imbalance? Have you ever felt in the meditation deep peace and love and harmony coming naturally to you and you want to stay in it? These different qualities, when they appear in our space, they're qualities of nature. Your essential nature, which is pure consciousness, is beyond all of these. But it becomes associated with them through the ego, through the mind, and through the relationship with the senses and the elements. We experience what we call gunas. These are modes of operation or qualities. A guna is a quality that is in the energy space, that is in the consciousness. And they feature in every aspect of our being, activity, energy. And so we need to learn to understand them. In meditation, the goal, of course, would be to come into this field of balance and light and joy, uplifting energies. That's a sattvic consciousness. So this guna or quality of balance, of light, of joy, of understanding is called sattva. So we may say it's a sattvic quality. And this drive to do and to act is called rajas. It's a rajas quality. It's called Rajaguna. Sattva guna is the quality of balance, Rajaguna. And that quality that holds us down in dullness, in slothfulness, in inertia, sleepiness, laziness, that's called tamas. So it can feature in the mental space, emotional space, physical space. So the wise ones have seen these clearly and how they feature in our conscious being. And they strive for the sattvic quality, the quality of light and harmony and peace and balance. But you'll find in our meditation that we get caught up in the tamasic. Why? Because it's the veiling power of nature. Nature has veiled the consciousness for the play of life. We call that play of life the Maya. It's that illusion that creates the play. Play in Sanskrit is lila. It's a play. And the soul is in a play, the pure consciousness is in a play, nothing but a play. Because it remains untouched. Even though all of these energy experiences are happening in the consciousness, our pure consciousness remains untouched. So when we begin to identify with pure consciousness, then we come into the place of witness. And we can come into that place of being untouched by all these gunas. We are seeing them, but we are untouched by them. So we can witness the tamas, not owning it or identifying with it. We can witness the rajas, not owning it or identifying with it. Or we can witness the sattva. So the most advanced state in the consciousness is the witness, a detached witness of all these gunas. But it's not so easy to get there. Nature has brought us into the tamas, that quality of ignorance and being veiled. So the natural tendency in ignorance is to be dull and to get caught in the slothfulness, the laziness. And as we begin to observe and grow a little more in consciousness, then we begin to see the power of the rajas in there, that we have the power of rajas, that we can become active and we can begin to manage the tamas. And as we begin to manage the tamas with the rajas, the goal, of course, will not be happy completely in rajas. Rajas means totally active. And that can lead to a lot of stress when we become too active, when the ego within us becomes very active and can't stop. It becomes restless. It needs activity, and it doesn't know how to rest or how to come into balance. So too much of this rajas is not good either. So it is the sattva quality that comes in to bring the balance. So the goal would be to use the rajas to control the tamas until we can come in more into the sattva. When the rajas begins to control the tamas, then we begin to see the sattva emerging, and we need to hold on to the sattva quality. So the rajas need to be tempered or influenced by the sattva quality. So these gunas can also be mixed within us. So we can have the tamasic quality and we can have the sattva in there, or we can have the rajas in there. So a tamasic quality that has sattva has the noble aspirations, even though it's still experiencing the tamasic nature. Like we say, for example, when the divine moves to destroy and dismantle, it is using a tamasic mode, but with a very sattvic consciousness. The intent is to clean and to uplift, but it's using a tamasic mode of operation, a destructive. So when we look at nature, we think, wow, we could actually think that the divine is out of control. But no, the divine is cleansing through the tamasic mode. So the tamas can be in a rajasic mode, where it's where the tamas is, where we are trying to get rid of the tamas, but the tamas is heavy, but we can bring the rajas in. So we can the tamas can be mixed with rajas, or it can be mixed with sattva. And so with everyone, rajas can be mixed with sattva when it has a noble intent, and harmony and goodness are associated, or it can be mixed with ignorance. The rajas can be mixed with ignorance. And where the ignoble intent is there, a negative intent, evil intent in the rajas quality. And sattva can be influenced by the tamasic, like I said, when the divine moves in tamasic operation. And sattva can also be with the rajas. So when the rajas quality, there is a sattvic, a noble aspiration attached to it. So these gunas can be mixed in our consciousness. So the goal would be to come into the sattva quality in fullness. So when we bring rajas and tamas into balance, when rajas can dominate tamas and allow the sattva quality to emerge, then we can feel the balance. So we can feel rajas and tamas are there, but sattva is holding them. So once we are in the energy space, we'll experience all these three gunas. So the goal would be to let sattva lead the space. And the ultimate goal would be to detach from all the gunas. That's called gunatita. become the witness of all the gunas. And that's when we have the ultimate control. So that's the state of enlightenment. So in meditation, you'll find sometimes there's laziness, sleepiness at every level, and or dullness, ignorance, lack of understanding. And we need to apply the rajas power at every level, consciously, to get rid of the tamas, to hold the tamas in suppression, or to get rid of the tamas. And we need to let the sattvic quality come into the space. So our intention is going to do that. So we can create a rajasic drive with our intention, and we can hold the intention in a sattvic space in the meditation. So, for example, if we begin the meditation but we feel that the body is sleepy, the body is dull, we can actually come to the lower chakras in the meditation, and we apply, say, the breath of fire, the fire breath. So if you go down to the root, so I'm holding the root area, which is connected to the earth, the physical body and structure, and I'm doing the breath of fire there. So that's a rajas activity. I'm holding the perineum area firm, and I'm getting to this rajas activity. And of course, depending if before the meditation I want to really manage that tamas, so how long do we do that? Until we feel that the sattva quality is more prominent. I can feel the consciousness at the base. I can feel that it's in the light. It's harmonious. I can feel the rajas quality that is there, that is very active and managing the tamas, and I can feel the tamas is disappearing. So I can do that for every chakra. So if I were to go to the sacral area, I'd take my attention there, a little higher than the base. So what I do in these centers is that I have a greater consciousness of the element, and also I have a greater, I power up the sense there, the power of the senses. So taste is empowered and smell is empowered. So I'm bringing a masterful kind of consciousness and energy experience at every level. And if I go to the navel, now I'm at the navel tense. So this is rajas trying to dispel tamas, and I come to the heart. And then I come to the throat. Now, these are the areas associated with the elements. So touch becomes energized here, and skin becomes energized. That's the organ of touch. And then here, my hearing and space becomes more dominant in my consciousness. So. So when you do that, you feel much more brightness in the body. Now, when you do the full breathing now, breathing right down to the root, that's the Bhastrika or the Bellows Breath. I feel much more balance and harmony at every level. Breathing right down to the root, breathing up the spinal column, down to the front as I breathe out. Back again. When we do that, the whole field becomes more balanced. And then the sattva quality becomes more dominant. And then we can do the alternate nostril breathing. Alternate nostril breathing is also a balance of the Raja Guna and the Tamo Guna. And the left nostril keeps the body in a more tamasic mode. The body is more passive. The mind is in a sattvic mode, but the body is in a tamasic mode during the left side breathing. And the right side breathing, body is in rajasic mode. So when we balance those two, when the breath is even and we balance those two, we feel a sattvic mode throughout the whole being. So after you do this, then you come into this exercise. So in the meditation today, of course, I have to take you there, but I'm going to ask you to practice this, going down to each area and practice this breath of fire in every area. Well, I can guide you so we do it a little bit. So we do the breath of fire at every chakra from the base to the throat. That's where the contact with the elements is. And then we do the dynamic breathing of the bellows. And then you're going to feel the difference in your meditation. And then we'll end with the alternate nostril breathing. Now, so the meditation is going to be a dynamic practice of meditation with the pranayama. Okay? So we can look at the gunas and look at the balance that we're going to create. So let's go down to the root center. This is the meditation, everyone. So let's go down to the root. So, okay, let's come into sattvic intent. The intent to stay in harmony. Clear the mental space. As much as you can, come into that field of pure awareness, where you can observe the entirety of the human experience. Give attention to every chakra level, as we're going to use them in the meditation. The mental chakra at the brow, throat chakra, space consciousness, heart chakra, air consciousness, navel chakra, fire consciousness, sacral chakra, water consciousness. All these elements are in your body. And root chakra, earth consciousness. Now I'm going to make the meditation a more rajasic one. So go down to the root, and now we do the breath of fire, a little bit in the root. Just relax there now. A good idea would be to hold the knees with the hand, because that will hold you more in the earth body. Don't put the hands here. Put the hands at the knees. So that will hold you more into the physical structure of the body, rather than the upper chakras. So let's do one of the breath of fire again at the root. Relax there. And now we go to the sacral chakra. So just take your attention to the sacral. Doesn't matter how deeply you feel it, but just take your attention to the sexual area, just above the sexual organ. Put your consciousness there. And we do the breath of fire there, which means that the mind is firmly there, and the rajas activity is going to be in effect. Let's go. Second chakra, breath of fire. Deeply in and out. Relax, and then we go to the third chakra. Now, when you're doing this on your own, you can stay for as long as you like. But for the timing of our meditation today, I'm just making it brief. But enough. Let's go to the navel. Take your mind there, your consciousness there. Posture must be proper, which allows for you to work the navel area. Okay, so we do the breath of fire there. Continue, fire awareness. Alright, breathe out slowly. Deeply in. Out again. 3 breaths in. Out. Relax. We go to the heart. So here is the area of feeling, of touch. You want to stay there with emotional consciousness. And the lightness, the sattvic part of the emotional consciousness would be joy and love, harmony. You want to bring the sattvic mode in every operation. So we do the chest. And here you can release your hands. Out now, slowly, and in deeply. 3 times. Now at the throat and back of the neck, you put your hands back on your knees and you hold the body firm. Hearing, this is associated with hearing and spaciousness. So we begin the breath of fire at the throat. Out slowly and in slowly. Now we'll do this one more time, and the reason why I'm doing this is because you will associate this with the root chakra as well. That's why we held the body firm. So you're going to connect that root chakra with the throat, with the back of the neck, with the third eye, for the best experience of this Rajas activity in the throat area. Right, so all of these are cleansing activities of the tamas. So sometimes we call this bhuta shuddhi, cleansing the tamas from the elements in the energy space, or cleansing the elements from the tamas in the energy space. So again, hold the body firmly, hold the knees firmly. Now when we connect to the throat and to the medulla point at the back and the center of the eyebrows, also focus on the root in this breath of fire. So let's go. And breathe out completely, in deeply. 3 times. Now hold the knees firmly, and here we're going to practice the bellows breath. So we're doing it in a way to energize every chakra from that root up to the throat with the eyebrow, center of the eyebrows involved. So now we're going to breathe down the front line of the body, right down to the perineum. And now up along the spine, right up to the back of the neck, to the medulla, to the third eye. And then down again. Right down to the root. Hold the root firmly. And then we breathe in. With a firm pelvic area. So continue to do this. Breathing down the front line of the body, right down, firm body. Right onto the root. And when you're grounded in the root area, then breathe in along the spine. Right up to the center of the eyebrows. So this is meditation, stabilizing the consciousness using the Rajasic mode to control the tamas, to bring the tamas in subjection with sattvic intent, that a sattvic space will open up. So we do the rajas only as needed, not to overdo the rajas, but until the sattva comes in. So this you can do for as long as you wish in your personal meditation. But for our meditation today is to bring the body into balance, into the sattvic mode. And now join me as we do the balanced breathing, alternate nostril breathing. So we close the right, out through the left, go right down to the root, in. Out through the right, in through the right, out through the left, in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left, in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the right, left, in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left, and relax. Now I want you to do the same breathing now without the fingers. Alternate left and right nostrils. Just with your mind now, focusing on the prana. Again from the root going up and coming down, breathing down the body like we did in the Bellows Breath. And you'll realize that when you come into the prana awareness, you can do this without the fingers. Now, to observe the meditative effect on the consciousness, the sattva quality will become more predominant. You're using the rajas just to bring in the sattva. And when you feel that you are more in balance with right and left, then you go back to the bellows breathing. And the orbit of the breath. When you feel there is balance in the left and right nostril breathing, so use the rajas now just as you need to let the sattvic quality dominate, and you will feel such bliss and beauty in your meditation. And here you're using pranayama to bring your entire being into balance. Remember, stay in sattvic consciousness, which is the consciousness of love and peace and harmony. So now you're in a balanced mode with the elements, with the senses. Just observe how wonderful this feels in terms of balance. Today I'm just showing you the techniques which you can use in your personal meditations. And the more you feel the opening of the chakras, the more these exercises will become beneficial. You will feel the benefits quickly. The breath will begin to become more and more shallow. And when it does, it's because the outer breath is needed less and less. And you are activating now the pranas from the base chakra of Kundalini. So the Ida and Pingala meets at the base. And when the chakra of the root is open, the energy comes from the base. And you find that the outer breath is less necessary as you're bringing the prana now from the Kundalini herself at the base. So whenever you find that you're going into breathlessness or very shallow breath, it is because the internal pranas are activated of Ida and Pingala. This can become very intoxicating on the inside. As the brow chakra becomes more internalized in the self. And the inner prana is activated. Now stay in that sense of balance and gratitude. You have a deeper relationship with the elements. You're more in harmony in your consciousness with all of you. You've nourished the body with the heating breath and the cooling breath. And this is the goal of yoga. Balance at every level of your being. This is where the ha and the tha of yoga, hatha, sun and moon, come into balance. The solar and lunar energies come into balance. Hatha. let's open our consciousness to a new day and to harmonious coexistence with all of life. All these qualities of the Gunas that pervade nature. So with sattvic intent, with the intent of harmony and peace and love, let's open up our consciousness to nature, to life. And let's hold the intention of being balanced today at every level of being. I center my consciousness in the source of my being, the source of all energy, all prana, all qualities, all gunas. I stay in that state of pure centering, or centering in the pure consciousness of my being, observing the play of the gunas. Today, my goal is to master the inner space by aligning to that center of being, observing these gunas in my space, and holding sattvic intent to be in the light, to be in harmony, to be in balance, seeking the power of the rajas to control the tamas, the veiling power, the power of ignorance, that rajas may dominate the tamas, allowing the sattva to prevail. So rajas becomes the servant of the sattva. I stay centered in that space of pure being, knowing that all power lies within me. Infinite peace, infinite goodness, infinite love, infinite vitality, infinite wisdom. I stay aligned to these, that my every thought today, my every word, my every action will be inspired by my higher self, my divine self. I give thanks for all the blessings I have received, and I pray to continue to be worthy. Om. Peace. 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 Thank you, everyone. Today I've made this day a little more practical, and I hope that you got the techniques. And of course we have a few more days in which we can continue the practice of some of these, that you get it. Those of you who would like to send your feedback to me, I'd like that, so I'd know how to direct the next sessions to suit you. And it's important when you are able to appreciate the tamas and the rajas and the sattva in the play. They're all meant for the experience of the soul in this divine play. And here you have the secret as to how to meet the tamas that we meet every day in a way of managing it and allowing the sattva to unfold. So this is the play of life. I hope in our meditation today you've really caught the technique and that you will begin to use it in your personal meditations during this day. The more you use it, the more you will understand it and the more you will benefit from it. So I want to wish you a fruitful day of practice. Have a blessed day, everyone. My soul bows to you. Namaskar.